As I mentioned, we will continue to be data dependent, and we are at a neutral phase, other than, one member who voted, who not voted because we don't vote, but who wanted to change the stance from neutral to accommodative. All others are at neutral, which means that given the state of economy that is today and that we foresee going down ahead over a 9-month period, 1-year period, this is the rate that we expect it to be there. I may mention, however, that as already mentioned even in my policy statement, that we are in a good spot, earlier mentioned as Goldilocks. Inflation, especially your underlying inflation, is low. It's much lower. Even our forecast going ahead is much lower. The target. Headline, of course, can go up and down. As mentioned, underlying inflation is very, very benign. And so I do expect that the policy rates should continue to be at low levels for a long period of time. Whether they will go down even further, I will leave it for the MPC to decide going forward. As to policy transmission, your first question on deposit size, it is expected that, and that has been the case always, that on the deposits, the policy transmission happens slower because on the advances side, credit side, we have rates which are linked directly to external benchmarks like the Repo and T-bills. So over there it is faster, and in the deposit rates it is slower. So that is to be expected. It has improved. It is improving. From last every policy statement, we look at it even more closely. We give out the numbers to you, policy to policy statement wise, but they have been improving, and we are hopeful that they will further continue to improve. See, it is still early days, so we have not actually done a assessment of how much the trade deal will contribute to the GDP growth, because see, right now we don't even have the details thereof. But we have still, added to the GDP by about 20 basis points because of various reasons, including the US trade deal. We will give out the numbers in the next monetary policy statement. See, the government program, I think, again, we have been looking at the gross numbers, which I don't think really, is the correct way to look at it, frankly. The way to look at it is, we have been looking at, 17 plus lakh crore or something. But there are, much more redemptions this year, coming year, next year, than, there were last year. So as a result of that, the gross calendar will obviously, be higher. But if you look at the net numbers, 11.53 lakh crore is the number for this year, government securities borrowing program. Next year, it is projected, it is budgeted to be 11.73 lakh crore. It's only 20,000 crore more, which is, one would have expected at least, if the budget size is going up by almost 9% or so, 8 to 9%. GDP is expected to grow at 10%. One would expect a 10% growth. The growth is much less. We should really be looking, at net. Number two, also, you find that this year or in the year to come, there will be money will be raised also through the treasury bills, which will help, in further. I think it will help, in managing the yield curve better. And we also find that the budgeted numbers for small savings are also, quite conservative. So I think, the kind of numbers, the borrowing program that the government is looking is much on the lower side, and they should be able to raise these kind of resources at very reasonable prices. I'll request Mr. Ravi Shankar, to further add onto the switches, some 2.5 lakh crore of switches have also been planned. That will also, further help on the liquidity and the management of the yield curves.
That's right. And buybacks are not factored in at this point in time. They are factored in during the course of the year. To the extent there will be buybacks, the gross borrowing number to that extent come down. I just wanted to, Governor explained all the factors clearly. I just wanted to draw the attention to the sense that the, gross borrowing is large. We should put them in context. Look at 2007-8. We were borrowing 1.9 lakh crores per year. 2 years later, 2.910, we were borrowing 5.8. 3 times the gross borrowing. Was that managed? That was managed. You look at relatively. Look at 2020, 2021. We were borrowing about 7 lakhs. In 2 years' time, we were borrowing 15 lakhs. Right? So these numbers, go up. If you compare to that, the increase is nothing significant at all. I'm certain Reserve Bank will be able to manage the government borrowing program quite efficiently.